I've talked to a lot of salespeople all over the world, some who are successful and some who aren't so successful. And I always try and keep a record in the back of my mind about what they say and do. How come this one's on fire and that one can't close a deal? Is it just sheer talent? Is it your looks? Is it what school you went to? Look, we all have good habits and bad habits. These habits shape our mindset and our approach to the world. These are the 5 middle-class habits that you have that are killing your sales. They're stopping you from making money and achieving your greatest potential. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to grow your sales toolkit. I want to see your commission explode. Now let's get into it. Listen to me. The first middle class idea that you need to get out of your mind is that you are paid to work. In this job, you're not paid to work, you are paid to sell. The first step that you need to take when you get a sales job is to eliminate your employee wage labor mindset. That if you put in the hours, you're going to get something in return. I'm of course not saying that you don't need to put in time to work, but I need you to focus because you only have 2 responsibilities as a seller. The first is to prospect. Okay, generate new leads. Put people into your sales pipeline. Whether that's on the phone, via email, starting a conversation in the store, you need to open that door and put that person into your channel. Your second priority then is to work those deals. Advance your current pipeline. Create the moment when they say yes to your product, service, or offer. We can get so easily distracted putting time into activities that are not income generating, whether that's responding to internal messages, following up with emails that are not progressing your pipeline, standing around looking elegant in a store or in your office, or even pouring hours into product knowledge when we all know that that knowledge is only useful when you put it into the sales process. When we hold on tightly to the idea that our income is related to hard work, this real wage labor mindset, it starts to mess with our approach to rejection. Show me a salesperson who doesn't face rejection and I'll show you somebody who isn't making money. When we think that we're trading time for income, it's really easy to fall into the trap that the person in front of us should have done this. They should have said that. They should have taken us up on our wonderful offer because we did such a good job. But that prospect doesn't owe you anything, even if you did the best job in the world. In sales, there is no should have, so keep building the resolve to get up. The true enemy in sales isn't rejection, it's stagnation. So remember, in this job, you're not just paid to put in the hours, you are paid to sell. I want you to start noticing the patterns of your thought, who you're comparing yourself to regularly. You may think that others who are looking around all the time, comparing themselves to the pack, are more likely to rise above. But more often than not, the people that you're comparing yourself to become your familiar limits, instead of something to contrast yourself with. You see, the middle class don't really try to keep up with the Joneses. They're conditioned to keep down with them, to be comfortable with mediocrity, to sink to the level of the loudest complaints. I get it. You want to wake up and see great conditions in the world, and you want these favorable conditions to hand you brilliant clients. And when that doesn't happen, it's easy to complain with those around you about the market, about how the customers on the street just don't have the money, how interest rates are too high. If it's not interest rates, it's inflation or unemployment. Or the weather didn't put your clients in the right mood to buy, or the competitors stole your clients, or this or that. There's always something. You can compare yourself with mediocrity all you want, and it might make your ego feel good, but it's not going to get you anywhere. I remember distinctly one winter's day in Lugano, the Swiss city with the highest percentage of billionaires. I had been speaking with the shop owner of a luxury store next to me, and she had just finished complaining to me that the Russians had stopped coming, and there weren't tourists like them. There wasn't money on the street anymore. Nobody was going to buy in these conditions. I watched a client walk out of her now unmanned store, and so I stopped the conversation, turned around and grabbed that client. I brought them into my store and I sold them 5,000 francs in 10 minutes. Listen, I didn't magic up new economic fortunes for the town in that instant, but what I did was I kept my eye on the prize. There's always going to be people willing to spend if you have the skills to put them in the mood to buy. Identify an opportunity and strike like a ninja when there is. You've probably heard the saying that you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, your results become the average of the 5 people that you compare yourself with. So choose wisely whose complaints you allow to hit your ear and what pack you're going to compare yourself with. Because instead of rising to a challenge, You could just be building walls around you that make it impossible to see over. Now, this third one is crucial for your development in sales. We're told that we should never discuss religion and politics with strangers. Our puritanical culture discourages conversation about sex and drugs. But there is nothing more offensive to middle-class sensibilities than open conversation about money and the desire to get wealthy. When somebody announces that they've started going to the gym, we congratulate them for doing something for themselves. When somebody announces a promotion, we congratulate them for their hard work. But should somebody in our life announce their desire to get wealthy, they're looked down upon as crass and uncouth. Money is a middle-class dirty secret, despite the fact that we all want it. We all need it. We're afraid to lose it, and we feel like a whore when we have it. We must tackle this deep-rooted shame about money and confront the subconscious ideas that we have about it to be able to attract sales into our life. Closing bigger deals, asking higher prices, earning more commission doesn't happen when we repress our desires about money. If each time we sell, we feel like a bad person, because money is a cruel mistress. If we ignore her and don't give her attention, she'll run right away. In our day-to-day life, this can express itself in not having any idea on the number in our bank account, not knowing our incomings and our outgoings, just tapping that card and hoping that it's going to be accepted. When it comes to sales, this expresses itself in us not being able to hold positively in our mind that monetary goal. We lose track of how we're comparing to our quota, of how many sales we need to do, how much commission we need to make to arrive to that number that we really want. You are not going to sleepwalk to your sales success, nor to your wealth. Very few people in this life have that privilege. So shake off that shame and that middle-class habit of thinking that money is dirty. The next middle-class habit that is killing your earning potential is holding on to a scarcity mindset and using that approach in your sales. You can't save your way to riches, and you certainly can't discount your way to a close. Literally just prior to filming this, I went to test drive a car. The sales agent told me all about the features of the car, how it had won car of the year, how he had sold 2 of them this morning, and one of the clients told him it drove better than his Mercedes. I went for a ride in the car, and afterwards I told him honestly that it lacked the wow factor, that sense of luxury that he had described. And so his response and his closing words to me were, give it another thought, and remember the discount. It was the kind of last-ditch effort for attention that is completely not worth the time it takes to say the words. You can tick all the boxes that you think that you're supposed to do as a salesperson. If you think that your sale depends on your level of discount, you're playing a zero-sum game. Most of the time, if that is the point that you've got to in your sale, you've lost control. You haven't been able to isolate their pain point and articulate an alternative future for them. If long-term your idea is to discount your way to your quota, you're going to end up with average commission at best, because you're going to be always following your client to their low number. If pricing is an issue that you're repeatedly facing, then you need to deal with it earlier in your sales process. Of course, some deals are going to require negotiation, but you can't discount your way to a close, and certainly not to your dream commission. This one is a lesson that works across all industries and is one of the biggest defining characteristics of high performers in all aspects of life. The final middle-class habit that is going to kill your sales potential is the insistence on having a plan B, your preparation and anticipation of failure. This is why those who are truly starting at zero are such a big threat and rise to become high performers in their team, because they have nothing to lose and their drive for success is relentless. If you've navigated your way through escaping an employee mindset, of choosing ambition, of working through your subconscious ideas about money to declare a big goal for yourself, you will see how quickly you will be tested by those around you considering your failure on your behalf. You're going to hear it from people who care about you, from the people who are otherwise on your side. The need for you to have a plan B, the need to temper your expectations a little bit, to stay in line with everybody else. Don't take the risk to start that business. Don't set your sights quite that far, because what happens if you don't achieve it? One of the first habits I made when I started in sales was to write down each day on a piece of paper my goal for the day. And each time I made a sale, I would deduct that amount and write my new goal under it. A couple of months into the job, I decided I would push myself a little bit and double that amount that I'd written down for the day. Almost immediately, one of the more experienced salespeople came over to me and he said, "Dude, Why don't you just write down something that's more realistic? Otherwise, you're going to go home each day feeling disappointed and not being able to reach your goal. And you know what? The rest of the day, I was so pissed off, I didn't close any more deals. But I came back the next day with a fire under my ass. And every single day for the next 2 weeks, I closed above that heightened goal that I'd set for myself. And I became the highest seller that month in our team. If you face failure, you'll be strong enough to deal with it at the time. I assure you. There is no need to preempt it. So keep your goal firm in your mind for yourself and let other people keep their insecurities. We are all the product of the environments that we grow up in, of the successes, the trials we face, and the ideas that we absorb along the way. But you know the incredible thing about this life? At some point, we realize that we have the power to decide which of these ideas, which of these frames of reference for our life we want to hold on to, and which of them we can let go of. Where you're sitting right now, with your existing beliefs, it feels comfortable and it feels safe. But just outside of it, just over here, there's a spot where magic can and will happen for you. You have the power to go beyond your familiar limits each day, to shape a new mindset, to choose new habits, to take action in the direction of your goals. The opportunities in today's market are there, and it might not be easy all of the time. You might need to hold up a mirror to yourself, but you can take a hold of them. I'm not here to make you feel bad about where you're at, or to discount the ideas and experiences that you've had in your life so far. But I want to encourage you to reevaluate them, to consider the incredible potential that you have to step into sales success and a financially free future. If you want to come on this journey with me, build your sales toolkit, and develop the mindset that's going to shape your wealth, don't just like the video, but subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't got yourself a job in sales yet, check out this video right here, where I coach you through how to ace that first sales job interview and land you your dream role.